Okay, so it was nice understanding your journey before you really begin our conversation about the Shemer. हम कोशिश करेंगे इसको इंग्लिश और हिंदी दोनों में रखें जब कभी भी फील कि देर इज a नीड टू हैव लिटिल elaboration on any topic जहाँ पे थोड़ी ज्यादा समझ में जरूरत पड़ सकती है तो we'll try to explain that.
Mhm.
Uh, before Sir speaks about Shemer, I will tell you the current market scenario a little bit. Currently, if someone wants to send $1 or $100 rupees, for example, outside India, agar he has an account in PSU bank, public sector wala bank, he has to go to the branch, submit the documents, get a rate from the treasury of the bank, and then after some days, it will go. Also, the documents are necessary at the purpose of your sending money outside India. So there is a really big problem कि someone has to go to the bank and then proceed. Even if we come to the HDFC and Wise, a lot of Skydo have also coming up with the similar products where they are saying in a one day the remittance should be done. The remittance means the money sent outside the country. It can be inward and outward. So how does Shame is little different from regular banking market right now, and how fast it is doing it?
Okay. Before I start, can you all confirm that you can hear and see me? Because Abhishek's voice is breaking a bit, so I just want to
Yeah,
confirm
yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 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 we can.
It's on me, sir.
Okay. So here's the situation right now, like you mentioned, that first of all there are banks
Mhm.
which people use. Then there is PayPal and Payoneer, which are the incumbents, I would say. There is Wise, there is Razorpay and Cashfree, there is Skydo and BriskPe. Let me give you a context first of all right now. Banks are good in the sense
Mhm.
that they are the only ones allowed to touch forex. Nobody else is allowed to touch forex.
Ah,
There's that, but at the same time they cannot really offer you fintech level experience because they are a bank. They have a lot of other responsibilities, so they are the infrastructure, they are not the ones who should be involved in this in that sense. So their rates are high, their
mhm.
complexities are high, the experience is lacking. So essentially there are four problems with all of these. So first of all, the issue is that it takes a lot of
Mhm.
time for your money to settle.
Yes,
Second is
true.
fund freezing. There is no one can
Mhm.
guarantee you when your funds are going to arrive in your account. I'll explain you why as well, because when Swift or the international banking transfers work, you have no clue how many banks are involved in your transaction, and every bank can stop the transaction for due
Ah,
diligence. So there's no way for you to evaluate how much time it will take uh, for
mm,
your money to receive,
true.
and fund freezing is a big issue. You could be an innocent person who is not a terrorist, and your funds could be locked for random reasons.
Mhm.
There's that. Then
Ah,
there is PayPal. PayPal is
ah,
good, but PayPal charges a lot of money. PayPal has fund freezing issues as well. Let me get back to the problems. First,
mhm.
sorry. So there is the settlement issue that it takes time. Second is fund freezing risk. Third is that costs
Mhm.
are first of all high and also not transparent. So they will give you a list of charges and it will be really hard for you to figure that out. They will not show all the charges up front.
Mhm.
There are a lot of issues with that.
Mhm.
It's a, for all of them, the business models are really complex to understand for a person who just wants to get their money. And lastly, there is the whole
Many.
issue of UX. Specifically, there are four issues I would say in the industry right now. The issue is first of all
Mhm.
that you need something
Fine.
called FIRA document, which is something you file to,
RC document
yeah, which is something you need to file to for GST purposes, so you are not charged heavy taxation.
compliance.
Yeah, so that document is
Mhm.
something which everybody requires, especially when they are operating above 20 lakhs income or 10 lakhs income in
Mhm.
some cases. Then you have the issue of purpose code. Purpose code is essentially a long list of things which describe your business. That let's say there is a code for software, there's a code for consulting, there's the whole long complicated list.
Ah,
It's not at all simple, and you have to navigate that to figure out what purpose code works for your business, and then you enter it. It is something complicated. It's something which frustrates everybody who is doing money transfer for the very first time. Then you have invoice caps. So to understand invoice caps, you need to understand that there are banks and there are fintechs. Fintechs face an invoice cap of roughly, from what I remember, I think so 25 lakhs per invoice. Banks have no invoice
Mhm.
caps. So if you want a higher invoice cap, you would have to split your invoice or do something about it. You cannot just get it. And lastly, you have
Mhm.
the issue of EFC integration, or in simple words, holding USD. So, or some other foreign
EFC
currency.
accounts. Okay.
Yeah. So when you're bringing in money
A
from,
little brief about EFC account to the students. That if someone is trying to get money in foreign exchange, foreign currency, and they don't want to convert into INR, and they want to keep it in the account in the foreign currency rate, right? I hope that is the right way to explain it.
yeah. So
Uh,
the basic idea is that,
and issue with the EFC also, if someone is trying to do a transaction within a single day, they have been heavily charged. If they are putting the money in EFC, they are debiting and crediting in the single day. So
yes,
I guess,
yeah. So the
uh,
basic idea of EFC is that, let's say you are receiving money, and if you are receiving money, you want favorable rates. The issue with the current
uh,
system is that you cannot get favorable rates at all, or you don't have any choice in terms of rate when a normal transaction happens. With EFC, you have the
mm,
ability to hold your foreign currency. It's limited though, but you'll at least get it for USG, pound, and EUR, which really matters. The others, I don't think you would even want to
uh,
hold, but these are the three which you mainly
mm,
want to hold, and you can get an EFC account for this. So you get the option
mm.
to swap at a favorable rate till the last date of the next month from when you
Next
received your
month.
money. That is how EFC works. It's
Uh,
something which is missing right now. Banks can offer it, but fintechs are not offering it, and people are basically in this situation where they do not get any control over the rates which they want. So this is the core issue
mm,
with the industry right now. Now looking at the players, there is, like I mentioned, banks.
mm,
There is
mhm,
PayPal. Banks I already mentioned their issues. With PayPal,
mm,
it works again. It has a lot of fund freezing issues. The cost is high. Uh, Fund freezing and cost are essentially high, because of which you cannot get speed. Like I mentioned, there's
uh,
no. Uh,
mhm,
this is how there and most of the companies that do AML checks, basically fund freezing check,
mhm,
works. They will, first of all, PayPal will let you enter the platform without any KYC. They would happily let you create
uh,
an invoice link and send it to your client. When the client sends in money, now they'll start their due diligence. Now they'll say, okay, upload the invoice, tell us your purpose code, all of these things. Their AI will flag you because you are a new freelancer, and for some reason, how dare you bring in $5,000 of money from a single contract? Their AI will flag you, which is like, really, I would say, very bad in terms of how it works.
mm,
It's a very basic pattern recognition system, not even a prop. It's a rule based AI. It's not even a really good uh, in any terms of technology,
uh,
right? It will just flag any patterns that it sees. Especially this is very common if you are just new to the platform, and if you bring in any money, yeah, they would be like, how dare you, and they would stop. They would flag your transaction. Then your transaction will go into a long queue, which will be handled by a compliance officer, and that compliance officer will get to it when they have time to get to your transaction. Till this time, your money is stuck. We have heard
and
horror stories where people's money were up to 20 lakhs were stuck up for 6 months. Now imagine being in India, getting a 20 lakhs contract, and your money being stuck for 6 months. And this person
mm,
whom I'm talking about, he has family and kids and everything, right? I mean, he's not a person like us, uh,
true.
who can essentially just survive anywhere. I mean, he has kids and uh, her whole family to support and everything. Now, just imagine how stressful the situation is for these people. Like, why should these innocent people be punished just because they are bringing in
Mm,
money from outside of the country, which is in fact good for the economy, because that is how any country ever has got rich or has increased their economy significantly.
true.
But the
Mhm.
system punishes these people, which is not fair. So that is the issue with PayPal.
Mhm.
That is next coming up for with Payoneer. Payoneer is good, but Payoneer's edge is that it's integrated with platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, which
Ah,
these people use. Then you have
only freelancing.
Wise. Wise USP was really about remittance, but it shifted to Wise Business as well these days. And their USP is really
Mhm.
transparency. Uh, they are really transparent with their pricing and everything, and their system is decent, but it still faces issues in terms of cost, speed, fund freezing, customer support, all of these things. Then you have then you have
Mhm.
Indian players. So recently, RBI released a new license called PACB, Payment Aggregator Cross Border license, which
Mhm.
has enabled a whole new system. So when we talk about
Mhm.
Razorpay, Cashfree, Skydo, BriskPe, the difference is that you get to create your own account. With PayPal, Payoneer, it's more like your account is not a
Ah,
real account. At times you don't even need an account. You can just share your Indian bank details with the person who is onboarded there, and it would work. But with these Cashfree, Razorpay, Skydo, BriskPay, you at least get an account where you can handle everything, which is important
mhm.
because you all want all your invoices uh, at one
Ah,
place. You want to track everything. So that is where the edge happens. Now, Razorpay and Cashfree are incumbents in Indian fintech, especially in terms of B2B side. I'm pretty sure if you are a developer, you have interfaced with them. That is what you use when you are starting an e-commerce in India. So they are the incumbents. They
mhm.
have a lot of products. Cross-border products are just another of those products. So it's just that situation where you have a big Indian fintech releasing a cross-border products, but still they are not as niche as our final PSEB companies, PSEB native companies, Skydo and BriskPay. These were companies which were created because of PSEB, I would say, or they were focusing specifically on PSEB segment. They are native to that. I would call them the
Mhm.
Paytm and PhonePe of PSEB at this point. So they have done a
I
pretty
understand.
good job in all honesty.
Mhm.
Skydo has made it really better than these all of these competitors which I talk about, where you get at least a
Ah,
portal where you can see all of your invoices and everything. Fund freezing risk is low because at least they do some sort of due diligence before the transaction. You get a customer support and
mhm.
everything. The cost of transaction is also less, which they have been able to engineer. Then their
Mhm.
speed is not instant. A one day claim is not real. I just this
Ah,
week itself I had call with
no, no,
one of my
ah,
friends who is an international freelancer. Uh, they take one day to transfer money from when they've received. So this is how Skydo works. It will create your Nostro account in US, which is a local account
mhm.
through which you can receive money. Now they give a lot of options. They give options like I think you can get money through credit card, PayPal, Fedwire, and these things. So depending
Mhm.
on the method you use, that will determine the time it takes from the client's account to your Skydo USA account. Okay. Now, if you they most of them will use Fedwire or ACH wire, which takes up to 3 days to get the money because it costs the least. So it takes 3 days to from there to this account.
To Nostro.
Yeah. Now the another situation is that for the money to move from this account to the Indian account for Skydo's account or even to your account, uh, the time is variable. Reason being that this whole system works for three
Mhm.
days in a week essentially, because if you consider in banking holidays in India and USA, you essentially end up losing
Ah,
Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday.
all right.
All you and even Friday, I would say, in some cases. So all you're left with is, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, somewhere in those range essentially.
Every day.
So the system is only
Mhm.
active for 3 days, where the actual money movement can happen. So depending on when your transaction is happening, you might have to, let's say you process your transaction on Thursday. You might have to wait up to next Tuesday for the money to move. And when the money reaches
Mhm.
Skydo India, then that's when the money can reach you, provided they send it to you using IMPS or something else. If the amount is big, NEFT RTGS, but more or less 1 day for that. So the
Mhm.
whole T plus one settlement thing is about when Skydo really has your money in India, then they can settle it in 1 day. Also,
I
they
can.
have I don't think they're publicizing it, but internally they have this business model where they charge 1% extra to settle you the money today itself.
Okay.
When
Achha,
and
you
when the money has reached a Skydo's account, else they take T plus 1 day. So
hmm,
timing is not really T plus 1. If evaluated, it's still a big question
okay.
mark.
Hmm, hmm.
BriskPe, what I really like is that they have figured
A
out.
little break.
Sorry,
हम
go on.
थोड़ा कोशिश करेंगे जो we'll just take a small break to understand the Skydo, how the reality happened for the people, those who have. पहले तो समझते हैं Nostro is the account. जैसे for example, I have opened an account in Union Bank. Similarly, a bank or anyone will open an account in another bank of another country, right? So Skydo has opened one account in, for example, JP Morgan or Citibank of United States of America. So now, for example, Tanishq, you are in America. So you will send the money to the Nostro account of Skydo in Citibank of India, of America, and then from there, using. So, by the way, Skydo also uses the SWIFT process, right? Or they don't need to.
It's
They
it's a
also
bit
using this.
different. It's a bit different because when we talk about Swift, we are talking about one random bank sending money to another random bank. When we are using Nostro or Vostro, the process is a bit different. First of all, okay, Nostro and Vostro accounts are usually opened up in a bank like Community Federal Savings Bank, which both these guys use, BriskPe and Skydo. Yeah, so
Mhm.
Nostro Vostro is essentially Skydo will have a net bank account with Community Federal Savings Bank, but Community Federal Savings Bank, which is their partner, along with Currency Cloud, which is their partner, they will give them details, routing details. So let's say the money
Mhm.
settlement will happen between the client and Skydo's account if you look at it. But the
Same.
way Nostro Vostro works is that it will allocate, let's say, Abhishek, your account is account number one, or you are user number one, let's say in Skydo. So it will just say that this money is from user is for user number one. But the mechanics is that the money is being transferred to Skydo's account. That's how essentially Nostro Vostro works. So you get
Mhm.
a bank account number or anything, but it's mostly a masking address, which is essentially settles the money to Skydo. Now, for the settlement process, Skydo's partner bank, which I believe was Yes Bank, and right now I think it's HDFC. Um, so
Mhm.
the money from Community Federal Savings Bank will be transferred to HDFC, and HDFC has created the Nostro and Vostro for Skydo in Community Federal Savings Bank. That is how it works. So it's not really
Mhm.
Swift. They use, I think, FedWire when they are
Right.
transferring money from their Nostro or Vostro to Skydo's inward collection account, and the process works same for BriskPay as well, or any most of the PSUVs that are operating today, except for Xflow, I think, which has a proper partnership with JPMC. But for all the others,
Mhm.
this is how the process mostly look, and that is how it
Mhm.
works. So it's not really Swift. Swift is different. Swift is when
Mhm.
when
Corresponding banks are coming in.
yeah, when you're
You
doing
can say
proper bank to bank transfer,
routing.
yeah,
Mhm.
that is how it works. But when two known accounts are there, it mostly works through Fedwire, especially in
Okay.
US
It's
corridor.
for okay. For me, it is unknown, but for as the transaction mode is known to each other, कि यही दो banks के बीच में होगा, and then the rest will happen. So that's why the Nostro Vostro is helping them easily for Skydo because they have partnership in the beginning itself. Is it true?
Yeah, yeah,
वहीं अगर हम
yeah.
okay. Okay. Now coming to the Chimere as well, कि वो कैसे चलता है. And what is the pronunciation by the way?
Chimère, it's Chimère.
Chimere. Chimere. It's a French name.
Yeah, it's French.
What does it mean by the way, sir?
It means a dream or a desire that can never be achieved.
Okay.
So the whole idea, I mean, Chimère has a whole history. We didn't exactly start with
Mhm.
payments. The idea
Mhm.
initially was we explored a lot of stuff. The idea initially was somewhere in the lines of brain computing interfaces. Then we moved to metaverse. Then we moved to
Okay.
payments, and then we explored. So the
Okay.
whole
Okay.
idea was to build something where a person can achieve something that is beyond their wildest dreams. The user should be able
Okay.
to achieve something which is beyond their wildest dreams. So that is how the whole idea of Chimère comes in. I mean, originally the English word is chimera, but we ended up choosing French
Okay.
because I looked up which is the sexiest language. And I said, why not? So,
You say,
like there is this effect that always a foreign name would work better in India in terms of there's just something about it. You come up with a local name, you would think that the product quality is not as good, but it will be cheap. So there's that. But you come up with a foreign name, you instantly upgrade your whole psychology of the company in terms of, oh, this seems foreign. Of course, this will be good. It will have quality tech, it and anything. You would be willing to pay even a higher price for it and whatnot. So a lot of thoughts went into it, but yeah, that is how Chimere came up. Coming to how it works,
okay.
before I move that, I would also like to just mention BriskPe, which I believe is a very important player in the whole PSEB segment. They have figured out how to do instant KYC. Besides
Hmm.
them, nobody is able to do that, which is really smart because we were able to reverse engineer and figure out how they got there, and really a lot of respect for how they were able to figure out that stuff. So there's BriskPay, and
Okay.
lastly, one more just Xflow because they have a very specific partner with JPMC in USA, which is pretty hard
Mhm.
honestly. So their
Mhm.
fund movement is handled by them, which is pretty crazy. So this is the whole
Okay.
segment of money movement right now.
Fintech.
Now let's talk about Chimere. So the
Fintech.
way Chimere works is this. First of all, we do have instant KYC that we have. I, I mean, we reverse engineered from this way. So we do have that. So when you register, you get your instant KYC. We create some
Mhm.
additional bank accounts for you. We take details of your existing bank account, but we also open up additional bank accounts for you, and I'll tell you why later. But for now, just understand this. So instant KYC happens,
Understood.
additional
Okay.
bank accounts are created. We also take up your main bank account details where your money will be settled. Post
Mhm.
that, you enter details like you would in BriskPay or Skydo, or Xflow. You enter the whole invoice details of what the payment is for and everything. Uh,
Mhm.
Now, as you go and create a link, our AI will do an
Mhm.
instant AML check. So it will
Mhm.
verify
Anti-money
everything. It will verify if you are on the sanction lists. It will verify if you're
person
uh,
list. Every.
yeah, it will verify if, let's say, you say you are a software company but your invoice is that, oh, I'm importing mangoes. No, that will not work. So it will tell you all of those things as well. Of course, I mean, nobody is legally allowed to tell you that. Let's say we suspect that you are a terrorist, but we cannot legally tell you that we suspect you are a terrorist. So that is the only case where real fund freezing happens. But besides that, we have chalked out all the false positives. So the AI will tell you that no, this transaction cannot go through for this very particular reason. You need to fix this, and that is how it works. So the instant AI AML check will ensure that before your link is created, your transaction is proper and has, I mean, a low probability of getting flagged in the whole process. Because again, at
Mhm.
the end of the day, money movement happens through banks, so they can anytime flag a transaction. But we want to actively
Huh.
but we have built this AI in a way that it actively reduces that, and the latency is very low. So you
Mhm.
click, enter your details and click, and you will either get the error code that this is why your transaction will fail and you need to fix it, or
Might be.
the link will be created. Now the
Check.
link is created. You will send this link to your client. Your client will get an option to enter their banking ID, which they'll enter, and after that there will the request will come up on their banking application. We are going to use RFP, which is um, a US domestic protocol, which is as close to UPI as possible. So
Okay.
yeah, RTP is real-time payments. RFP means request for payments. That is the protocol which we are using. So they'll get a request in their banking app. They'll click, and the money will be deducted instantly from their account. We'll receive it in Chimere's account in USA instantly. As soon as the money is
Mhm.
hit, here's how the system will work. We'll have NBFC partners here in India. NBFC partners are essentially credit providers, you can say.
Ah,
So NBFCs will,
non-banking financial
yep, yep. So
circulator.
our NBFC partners will send you the money instantly,
Okay.
and this is how you will receive the money. So your you have got your instant payout. Now the whole process will work in the back end where we'll batch transactions in USA, then we'll
Mm-hmm.
move them to India in our in Chimere's account. Then once we receive the money, we'll disburse it to your special accounts which we created towards the start, like I mentioned. Reason being because it's
Okay.
regulatory requirement to give money to your accounts directly. So you'll receive that money then in your new created special accounts. Then all of these accounts will
Mm-hmm.
have a standing instruction, which let's say is an automated payment request. So as soon as that money hits
Mm-hmm.
your account, it will go back to the NBFC. So completing the loop.
Achha.
Okay. So this
Ah.
is how the whole instant pay loop work. All in all, for when we count the amount of time it will take from the client to
Mm-hmm.
the money hitting your account, it is going to be 20 seconds, including latency and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the product is developed or still in the process?
We need licensing, so we are raising money for it. But tech is ready. We just need to get our licenses and our partnerships, and after that, it will be up and running. You can, of course, try the beta for it. It's on chimere.world. So if you just want to have a look at our beta and just see how the experience will work, you can have a look at it. I'll talk a bit more about our blockchain as well and why we needed it. But our
Ah.
blockchain is
Mhm.
essentially deployed right now. I mean, when you try our beta,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
is running on our own blockchain essentially.
Okay.
So this is how Chimere's the whole system works. So the idea is, first of all, of course, 20 seconds total time settlement. It works
Ah.
24/7, so no 3 day or any of those things. The AML check happens before the transaction, so we are basically ensuring minimum probability of fund freezing as possible.
Okay.
Okay, it's very unlikely that your money will be frozen. And I mean, if you are a
Mhm.
terrorist, of course your money will be frozen. We cannot do
Ah,
anything
good.
about it, and it should be frozen. We'll freeze your money if you are a terrorist.
Ah.
So after that,
Mm.
cost is really low. Our cost is going to be
Mhm.
up to 1%, inclusive of everything, taxation and all things included. uh, no other no other fee that we will be charging. It total 1% charge on the whole amount, and instantaneous transfers will be available up to I think $1,000 or $2,000. For now, let's say $2,000, but we need a bit more clarity on the actual limits once we have proper licensing and partnerships and all of these things. But the goal is
Achha.
at least up till $2,000 will be our goal is to enable instant transfers. Beyond that, the transfers will be non-instant, but you'll still get the lower rate. You'll still get minimal fund freezing, and you'll still
Small
get
value points.
yeah. But for instant, we'll be capping it at 2,000. Beyond $2,000, we'll not be offering instantaneous transfers. Then
Mhm.
there is the UX side of things. So of course we'll be doing instant FIRA like all of our competitors. Yeah, we'll be introducing EFC integration or the ability to hold USD. So when you try our beta, you will see that you have a USD balance in your uh, beta or in your
Yes.
account. So the whole idea is that you can hold USD for up to like 60 days, I would say it max, because the limit is that you can hold USD up till
Ah.
the last date of the next month
The
of
next.
receiving your money. We have integrated news and everything as well. So when you want to determine what sort of rate you want to swap your money at, you will have US INR relevant news as well on our page.
Ah.
There's that.
Okay. Okay.
Then we have integration of then we have purpose code automation as well. It's not live in beta yet, we'll be introducing it, but we'll be having purpose code automation too. Then lastly, we'll also be having no invoice caps uh, by a banking
Okay.
partnership. So if let's say your invoice cap is beyond 25 lakhs, our bank partners will process that for you. So the pricing and everything will be different, but you don't have to
Mm.
switch to a bank different separately. You'll still be in the same UI, I would say. So you can if you have a
And no
say
need to even split it versus.
yeah, so if you are here, you won't have to like go separately to your bank app and do a whole no invoice cap thing.
Yes.
If you have a higher invoice cap, you can use our banking partners to process your transactions. So the fees and everything will be separate for that, but for the others, it's still the same. Lastly, we will be starting with US India corridor, the whole instant payment thing is for US India corridor only right now. We'll of course be supporting global
Okay.
collection from day one, so you don't need anything
Mm-hmm.
else. But yeah, the instant feature is only for US to India right now. In future, we plan on expanding it to UK and EU, but that's years down the line because again, we just want to get US India up and running right now, and post that
Mm-hmm.
UK and EU corridors are also in the pipeline. So
Uh, uh,
Okay.
so now
So,
that it is,
summarize it. Huh.
uh, just wanted to ask this. I mean, very curious about it, and I got to know about your MUN history all while you were in VIT. So I think you can answer this. So like, what is your plan, or make this work in a world where every country has different banking regulations, like you know Japan must have some different regulations, Australia must have some different regulations. So what is your plan in solving the geography problem for all of these corridors now that you have figured out about the USA India? So moving on ahead, how are you guys going to solve this?
okay, so first of all, this is our plan right now. So when it comes to money movement, the whole world is connected through banking systems.
Hmm.
Okay, so we are only
Right,
focusing
right.
on high value corridors right now because if we look at to give you some perspective, the US India corridor itself is roughly $100 billion right now in terms of software
Right.
exports. Okay,
Hmm.
out of that, $5 billion is in the freelancing segment, which we are targeting, or which is where we are starting from. When we include the US and sorry EU and UK corridors, the value goes up till like $150 billion. If we
Hmm.
look at the whole software export economy, it's $200 billion, and if you look at all the services
Hmm.
combined,
Hmm.
it's roughly $400 billion. The point is that majority of the money is coming from US, and after that, it's coming from EU and the UK. So if we are able to cover these three corridors and make these three corridors instant, I think our problem is solved because these are the highest frequency corridors. Post that, we are depending on our banking partners, which already have the whole world connected to just enable global collections from day one. So our goal really isn't to enable instant corridor for every single country
Right.
right now. Our focus is very simple that
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
we want freelancers, and I'll expand why on that too further. But right now, the idea is that freelancers should have these corridors enabled for them, especially Indian freelancers.
Mm-hmm.
Post that,
Right.
yeah, we'll see where things goes. I mean, if we are able to accomplish this, we are easily, I mean, beyond unicorn at this point.
Big thing, big deal, big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I mean, once we get there, we'll figure out the roadmap from there to,
Hmm.
Uh,
let's say, building the world.
Next GTM and all.
One step at a time. One step at a
Yeah, but
Good,
it's
good, good.
totally possible though. It's just that the ROI has to be calculated because, like you mentioned, every single corridor
Calculated.
is expensive, very expensive to integrate.
Right, right, right. And moreover, that it's ever evolving. Like recently, you had used markets in crypto assets, then the FATF rules. So I think it's always evolving. So moving with the speed and moving parallelly to all of these things is sort of a big task in itself to achieve.
Yeah,
So
I think once we have achieved US, EU, and UK corridor, I don't think people would want instantaneous for other corridors. I think people would want some other things in terms of a better UX, specifically agentic integrations
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes, yes,
to
yes.
send and receive payments. Um,
Yeah.
lot more have like a lot more compliance stuff. For example,
Hmm.
MES should be able to get onto our platform and get all the information of their client in a seamless manner. Automated ITR filing, automated investment, specifically when we are looking at freelancers and small teams. So everything,
Right,
Mm-hmm.
I
right,
think
right, right.
sort of the way I see it, the idea is to build a financial OS in the long run, especially if we are still just building for India.
Oh, okay, okay.
And if we are expanding, then I mean, then the situation is very different because needs of American markets are very different. Needs of European markets are very different.
European markets are different.
So it's a whole thing. For right now, I'm just restricting myself that let's aim for US India and make enough money on it.
Hmm.
If
And see where it
that
goes. Right, right, right.
if that works out, then maybe UK EU. If that works out, then we'll see on it.
Ah,
Definitely.
Maybe.
Middle East, yeah, Southeast Asian countries and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, we can
So
always
we'll try to summarize the scam as
He's lagging again.
yeah. I mean, I was saying that. I mean, plus we can always lend out our infrastructure when we are a much more bigger company. So if I think the
Hmm.
implications of our AI and the blockchain which we have built are immense.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say if a country that doesn't have instantaneous payment system wants to have instantaneous payment systems, we can guarantee a much better technology than UPI at this point. Our I mean, our failure rates are very low. Our security is much higher. Our scalability is much higher. So in every sense of the thing, I mean, our blockchain is state of the art. Our AI is state of the art. So if anyone else wants to build, we would be more than happy to like lease our technology and let them build. Because even
okay.
if let's say we are not focusing on some other markets which are very lucrative, for example, the US Mexico corridor, I think it's the biggest remittance corridor in the world if you're not considering business payments, if you're just considering
Mm-hmm.
remittance. But I think they're already captured by
Yes,
Western
yes.
Union and their special legalities which they enforce in terms of them. But there are a lot of markets ripe for disruption in this space. We are not aiming for it, but if
Mhm.
someone wants to join in, I think my personal interest would
Right.
more be instead of tapping, let's say, a random corridor which I do not understand, is to let those people
Hmm.
do what they do best and just lease out our technology to enable them to do that. It would really be a dream come true if some international corridors are connected using our technology. If some country eventually ends up
Mhm.
running a system like UPI, because our blockchain technology would
Mm-hmm.
really enable that, where you have a blockchain running and you can have a whole wallet system on it. So,
Huh.
really, it's a dream come true, but at the same time, not realistic right now because who would
Mhm.
use a technology developed by 20 years old to run a whole country's infrastructure, right? So, uh, first, that is our goal. Let us show what we can do for the US India
Okay.
corridor, and besides that, I think the applications are endless for this in terms of
Well enough.
instant payments.
Uh, just one
Okay.
more question before we wrap this up. I mean, before I give it back to Abhishek. I just wanted to ask your personal, opinion or what are your thoughts upon you touched on a little bit of anti-terrorism and the entire money laundering thing. So, uh, just this small area that we left out, I feel there was one. Guest was there during one of our events at IIC, Mr. Prasanna Lohari, the founder of India Blockchain Forum. And he put out a really interesting topic out there on the stage that kind of beats me all of the time. So what he said was that one of the biggest headaches to regulators right now, for financial regulators, is this entire offshore loophole. Money moving instantly to an exchange or payment provider registered in a jurisdiction where they ignore international AML laws. So for you, I mean, on your personal level, so while building this agnostic payment layer, how much responsibility falls on you guys to police the endpoints of a transaction versus just providing the technology to the people who are transferring money without without any problems.
So the whole anti-money laundering check is the heart and soul
Hmm.
of any PSEB company or any international fintech
Hmm.
company. It is also the reason why, although crypto offers the best possible experience in terms of cost, in terms of speed, has still not hit adoption at this point, and it's still coming soon or to the moon sort of a thing, and not something which
Hmm.
has been
Mhm.
adopted at a real level. Plus all the issues that we see with Indian exchanges as well. I mean, WazirX got messed up. Other exchanges have had criticisms of these things as well. It's very very important, and
Hmm. Hmm.
the pro issue is that even when we started out, Chimère Pay, I would say version 1.5 was UPI crypto integration. Even back then, we did not
Okay.
completely understand the implications of this. As we deep dive more into it, we also learned it. So, as someone who comes from a tech background, majority of us will find it very non-intuitive of how important legal is in fintech. But honestly, the heart and soul of fintech is the financial regulations. You have
Hmm.
to design your technology
Compliance, I
and
think.
every single thing around it, and that is what makes it extremely hard industry to disrupt. This and healthcare. Uh,
Mm.
with AI or with
Both of them.
crypto or with education or whatever
Robotics.
else you are dealing, you can build something and you can just ship with no consequences until things happen.
Mm-hmm.
With fintech, that's not the case. You need a lot of, everything is difficult. You need capital. You need to build trust in terms of marketing, because people are going to trust your money with it, not just they are not just buying a subscription. Marketing is difficult. Tech is
Mm-hmm.
difficult because you
Huh.
have 100 different things in terms of regulations that you need to take care of. Uh, Besides that, of course, you end up reading legal as an engineer, so you have to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have to just sit down and read a lot of regulations before you can even do anything about it.
Before it, right.
So that is the
Huh.
situation with it. So same is the situation with us. We are very vigilant about it. That is why we have developed our email system from scratch, looking at all the regulations from RBI. I mean, we have looked into the docs, we have read the docs. That is how we ended up
Oh, no.
building it, the whole system. So our system purely
Mm-hmm.
complies with everything. We have built our own fine-tuned SLM which does this email check. So it's not
Okay.
So the AI is not on the LLM, it's more on the SLM side for the. Are you also using OCR for the invoices and purpose code extraction?
we'll be using it in the future. Right now we are not. Right
Mhm.
now we are making people
Okay.
build their own invoicing on our platform itself, so that the data is structured. But
Mm-hmm.
the issue is, if we just enable that random invoices, you might not have the information that we need. So which is why we have built a sort of a platform where you enter all those details. In the future we'll add a button where you upload your invoice and it will extract details and enter it there, and if there are any details missing, you can enter it manually. So initially
Mhm.
for that we'll use OCR,
Initially,
but
initially, the plan was that I might be developing OCR for the bank forex transaction, but when we understood the complexity of OCR which is required, even if in the forex O is considered by the AI is zero, the whole transaction will be an issue. So the development of forex OCR is not as simple as well, right?
with I would say that if you are using, let's say, even Gemini API, OCR is simple. The issue is that the invoice might not have details. So it's not really an OCR issue. It's really a
Mm-hmm.
regulatory or a UX issue, which is why we have taken up this approach where we have this full form that we need these details from you to move forward. Now, if you don't want to enter them manually and use your existing invoice to fill them, fair enough. You upload your invoice and it will extract those details and fill it up. But if an information is missing, you still need to enter it manually. We do not care if that information is not in your invoice. So it's that is how
Okay.
we have figured that out. But if you are exclusively building a system where you use OCR for just an invoice, and the issue is the missing details. The issue is not that AI will not be able
Ah,
to read stuff. I mean, at this point, any LLM is pretty good in doing OCR. Gemini, especially, any LLM that has 1 million of context window, you can use it. Gemini is cheap. Gemini is good.
mm,
Use Gemini for your OCR. It will work. But the issue which you
mhm.
will run into is this, which I mentioned, that it will not have all those details. That is the issue with it.
Also, for example, if I'm sending the money outside and someone, if I'm the buyer, uh, so it can be the issue that buyer, beneficiary, this terminology can also be an issue because in every other different invoice, the terms, the beneficiary meaning can be different with different types of paryavachi subs. Will that be also an issue? Or that's not going to be an issue?
It's very simple. When you're building your system, you just mention about what you
Mhm.
exactly need. For example, you create a
Mhm.
structure, like I mentioned, that it's about structured versus unstructured data. So if you
Mhm.
specifically mention, if you create a structured data table that this is what you want to extract, and you extract information from it, you will
Mhm.
succeed. um, because it's pretty standard in terms of what's happening now. With bank, I believe your issue could be that you could be dealing with, let's say, remittance invoices. You could be dealing with maybe international investments, you could be dealing with issues much more complex than PSEBs ever have to deal with. But even to deal with them, you have codes, you have regulations. So the idea is that you essentially create a structured table for each one of them, which I believe your bank would already be
It
having
can
in
be done.
place. Yeah, so it's more about converting unstructured to structured data. With
Mhm.
our AI, like you mentioned, we have built our own SLM, which
Mhm.
is how we were able to achieve so low latency and fast responses. It runs locally, so it complies with all the data regulations. I mean, it can we can
Mhm.
literally run it on, I mean, my MacBook. So
Okay.
it's very efficient in every sense. It's very accurate as well. Besides that, so
Mhm.
it's state of the art. So that is our AI. The issue with using AI for AML is that is security and reliability really. I mean, if your node get hacked,
Ah.
you are responsible for the next 9/11, and then who wants that? So, which is why we ended up building our own blockchain, which is the only blockchain in the world at this point which can run SLMs or LLMs. It supports GPU acceleration. It can run LLMs or SLMs
Mhm.
on chain properly in a smart contract environment. So the idea
Smart
is
one.
that our SLM will, let's say, run on three or more nodes, but for simplicity, let's say three. So these three sort of form a
Mhm.
democracy and they vote. So whenever a transaction happens, all three will run the same transaction with the same algorithm with the same AI. So the three should return with the same result. That is the logic. But if let's say one node
Okay.
gets hacked or if one node is down, it won't get it. So two, if there's a 2/3 majority, the transaction still passes. So that is how we are able to enhance our security and
Okay.
reliability. Plus, this model is really scalable.
Mhm.
It's not about having three nodes. Three nodes is just for simplicity, but the model scales with our consensus. We can have as many nodes as we want, and as we increase the number of nodes, our security and reliability increases. Which is why we are able to
Multi-line
use,
processes.
yeah, which is why we are able to use our AI for solving SLM. So that is the
Mhm.
stack which we have built. Plus, we have a hybrid local plus cloud infrastructure to comply with fintech regulations. Besides that, we are building a whole like data flywheel. So as more and more transactions pass through our AI gets smarter because it has more real transaction data after every transaction. So the intelligence starts
Ah.
compounding and our AI starts improving itself and starts becoming better in terms of the transactions that we might be missing or the transactions that might be requiring a human
And
review.
Mhm.
So they are already low, but as the
Mhm.
intelligence compounds, it becomes much more better, which is what enables us to be a very special company. Incumbents cannot really implement this because it's
Mhm.
very risky for let's say a company which already has an AML program in place to convince their board that let's change our AML program because the
Okay.
AML risk program is the heart and soul of any company. So no board would approve it as easily that you want to change the whole AML tech overnight. Uh, Besides that, when it comes to starting a new company, any company that will be starting after us will face a lot of disadvantage because we already have the data, real transaction
Ah.
data. So which is what our mode is.
Mhm.
That is what makes us special. Uh, Now the question is that of
Mhm.
course there would be a pressure on the incumbents to do this if this works out. So to solve that, we'll be launching our API essentially. So if you want to do what we do,
Oh, right.
instead of building your own thing, just integrate
Mhm.
us. And that is how we
Ah.
plan on capturing the broader market. We'll start with freelancers, but to capture the broader market, we'll just release our API for all of these players and new companies to use.
Mhm.
So that is,
Okay.
yeah, how it works.
So once I can summarize your product, the exact transaction part we like to summarize. For example, when the link is generated, for example, I am in India and I have to send $100 to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm speaking $100. What happens in the bank is that I have 100 rupees, but I have to send you in dollar or something. So I will purchase dollars by giving 100 whatever the rate, by taking the rate. No, not taking the rate because it's $100. So whatever the bank is saying to take the rate, I am bound to take the rate. I will take the rate. I will pay the money. money, the $100 will still go to the Nostro account, and then you will get. But in your case, it is a little different. In your case, for example, if I am sending the money, I will put the INR and the real time market price. I don't think you are charging anything except the market price. There is no spread and swap for you.
No.
No spread and swap. Huh. So, for example, let's suppose today the price is 100 INR is equals to mm, $1, and I have to send you $10, for example, 1,000 rupees. So, मैं आपको 1,000 I will keep in the bank account, and then you will send it to the bank connected with you in the country, for example, America. And the NBFC is the one who is on spot and the real timely giving the money to you from my end or from the Chimère side. And but at the end of the day, you are making sure the banks are making feature of the account कि सारे पैसा जैसे जैसे जाने चाहिए वैसे जा रहा है, and the whole cycle is getting, the books are getting closed. जहां से शुरू हो रहा है वहीं पहुंच रहे हैं. The only thing, do you think the blockchain and the NBFC side as well is helping you to become the real time? क्योंकि अगर NBFC अगर ऑन स्पॉट पैसा ना दे बेनिफिशियरी को, so it might become an issue as well.
Most definitely. In fact, NBFCs were a recent addition to our whole transaction model because there was a regulation which
Hmm.
came recently from RBI that we cannot have pre-funded liquidity. So initially, the idea was that we can
Okay.
have pre-funded liquidity. So we'll use our own money to fund these, instant payout. But then RBI came up with an update that that's not allowed anymore. So we had to like shift our whole model to this NBFC model.
प्री
So
फंडेड लिक्विडिटी मतलब आप पहले से पैसा रखोगे, जब अगर कोई बोलता है पैसा देने के लिए, यू विल गिव इट टू देम, राइट? द प्री
yes,
फंडेड लिक्विडिटी.
yes, yes. So we'll send money from our own account to the user. That was the original idea. But RBI banned that model, so we had to shift to the NBFC driven model. So yeah, it's most definitely dependent on NBFCs for making the transactions instantaneous. But more than that, I would say if I had to like pinpoint one thing that makes our transaction instantaneous, I would say that is our AI, which does the AML, because that is the biggest bottleneck right now in industry. That is why the transactions are not fast right now. Everything other than AI, I would say, is an essential supporting leg. But the core top of the table, which enables this instantaneous transaction, is that AI AML that we have developed. Blockchain supports it. Blockchain enables that it can run in a secure and reliable environment. NBFC is the legal arm of it. Then RTP, RFP, and IMPS are the another aspects of it. Licensing is the whole another aspect of it that we need to enable this. But everything is centered around that technology. To put it in that way,
टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रू.
that is the reason why our competitors won't be able to make their transaction instantaneous. If I had to answer it, if I had to like find one reason why, this is the reason that why our
Because
transactions are
right
instant.
now, because when the documents are submitted by the customer, the one who is sending money, it is coming to the back office of the uh, whole bank, where the people, the scale 1, scale 2 officers, are copy pasting कि ये बेनिफिशियरी है, ये यहाँ जाना है पैसा, ये एड्रेस है. So that a long amount of time is, it's kind of saved by you actually. कि वो एक एक चीज बैठ के जो देखते हैं, कस्टम्स भी कभी कभार देखना पड़ता है, कभी इन्वॉइसेस ज्यादा आ जाती है तो वो भी देखना पड़ता है. तो कस्टम्स नहीं होता, सॉरी, बेसिकली द इन्वॉइसेस एंड द लिमिट आल्सो. कभी कभार द एलआरएस इज द होल एलआरएस इशू कम्स, तो वो भी उनको कभी कभार चेक करना पड़ता है. Do you think this can also solve the LRS issue if an individual is sending, not the corporates, or your customer are corporates initially?
LRS is relevant when you are doing consumer remittance. Our
हाँ.
business model is particularly built for PACB, which enables
Mm.
business to business exports.
Business.
Even if they are of the nature that the person is an individual, they are not a company or a team,
Mm.
they are a freelancer. It's fine, but they have to be a
हाँ.
business. entity. Not that to register you have to like have a business registration or anything, but the whole point is that the nature of transaction is it's a business transaction. The transaction
So
can
currently
either
it is for
be,
the non-LRS.
sorry,
Currently it is for the non-LRS transactions, if we say
very specifically right now it's for service exports. I mean we are not,
service exports.
I mean we are not even doing goods right now. It's very
Uh-huh.
specifically for freelancers who export services to USA and other countries. But other countries
Hmm.
only if core idea is that if you are exporting to USA and if you want instantaneous, come to Chimere. We offer everything else as well, so you can use it. But that is our core target group. Now that being said, our technology can definitely be used for other segments as well. There's nothing stopping it.
Mhm.
It's just that we are not focusing it on it right now because there are market issues with
All
it,
right.
very serious market issues. For example, in
There's the
India,
moment goods are coming, the shipping bills and the bill of entry issues might also come into the challenge, I guess. Is that the reason?
issue with consumer remittances is that first of all the receiving entity is old parents. They are not tech savvy. So basically your user has to be based in US or the other country where you onboard the person
Mhm.
and then they'll send it to them. Plus I think already I think so um, Remitly, Wise and Zoom are doing a
Huh.
pretty decent job of sending money. Most of I think some of them have implemented a instantaneous system as well with their Indian
Okay.
partners. But the whole game is that it's about onboarding the sender, and the sender is not based in India. So your company needs to be, or
Mhm.
your community needs to be based in US if you want to really be really successful
Mhm.
in this business. Which is why we didn't end up. I mean, we do know people in US, but we know a lot more people in India, which was the primary reason that we wanted a Indian user group. We didn't want an American or European user group. It would be hard to grow, especially if we are sitting here
Mhm.
and our customers are, in a whole different country, in a whole different continent. So,
Mhm.
which is why we are starting with Bit. That being said, it's totally possible. Like I said, our technology can definitely be used for it. There is nothing which is stopping it. But I would rather let someone else build on that technology, and I would rather
Okay.
prefer to be the tech in this case. Or if our plans change, who knows? But that is definitely a market that could be tapped into the future. Right now,
Mhm.
that's definitely not the plan. The margins are concerning. Like I mentioned, the whole the whole customer acquisition issue is there. There's also an opportunity which I
Mhm.
see because I was recently seeing a lot of companies which were funded by YC which are doing this. They are opening an American bank account for people, and they are really not aware about FEMA regulations which say that you have to bring the money back in 9 months. So that is really going to mess
Ah.
them up. So there's definitely an
Ah.
opportunity which I see, but at the same time,
Because they might be thinking ki, ha, India is also very good with the regulations, but I guess India is not very open as US in terms of cross-border transactions till now.
issue is
Even if
issue is people in
hmm,
USA like see it was the same reason why I didn't choose any other market and I chose this market because I've done freelancing as well. I understand
hmm,
the pain I have. I know my community well, so it's easier for
hmm,
me to grow because I've been through that pain. I know my people, and there's that. With these companies which I'm talking about that are YC backed and trying to solve remittance or things like this, especially when they work on the model of opening a bank account in USA for the user, be it
hmm,
especially for the Indian user in US. One of the biggest issues that they will face is that FEMA says that within 9 months you have to bring the money back, and you cannot really automate this process. You cannot really put an instruction in a American bank account that within 9 months your money needs to be automatically swapped to the Indian bank account. It's not possible. It's not legal. So
हाँ
I mean
BRC नहीं
it
बनेगी
will
फिर
mess a lot of people up. If because it's YC backed, so of course there will be marketing. People will start using it. They'll get some commission as well. But I mean, a lot of I see a personally I see a lot of FEMA notices coming in that you have violated heavy regulations. I see the companies
but
shutting
then
down.
BRCs will also happen right then the BRCs will also happen क्योंकि जिस दिन से बीआरसी अगर नहीं आती है तब तो वो क्लोज ही नहीं होगा अकाउंट if it is not under the 9 months
FIRC is a yeah, it's a
और
different
banks
issue is there as well. Then
हाँ
yeah, like I mentioned, FEMA issue is there as well. So people in USA have no clue, especially when they are building for the Indian markets. In fintech or healthcare, the regulations are very very different here. In
हम्म,
RBI is specifically very very strict with international money transfers, which is why it's very very hard.
Mhm.
I mean, to give you a perspective, Stripe applied for PSEB license and they withdrew their application.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it has been a while. So Stripe, which is the biggest payment company as of now,
Ah, I have heard you.
Revolut is not entering. Revolut has been trying to enter the Indian market for a while now because my friends have worked there, so I know what's going
Mhm.
on there.
अच्छा.
They haven't been able to do anything about it. I mean, we are talking about the biggest players in payments, Revolut and Stripe.
Mhm.
That's the
हाँ.
situation of India. So you cannot just build here casually. That's what I'm
Fair
trying
and
to
true.
say. From you really need to understand the regulations here. That's the key. I mean, it's possible to build, but it's very very hard when you are not based in India to build for Indian regulations. Uh, so that's the
Mhm.
situation.
I guess we have touched a lot of the finance and the tech wala integration of the part.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there must be a lot of things, more things to know. How the blockchain, the Web3 is helping directly into the supporting the SLMs. There are a lot of other technological parts as well, I believe. We can also come up once again, if possible, ever again, to understand more into the deep tech part. How
Mm-hmm.
uh, one last thing, who are your right now the right customers? Because you are charging around 1% of the whole transactions. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, even if the cap is 20 lakh rupees, and you are charging, but whereas after few days, if the cap is removed, most of the remittance will be of 2 crores or 5 crores, or minimum 2 10 crores, at least in Mumbai headquarters, what I'm looking at the screens of the remittances. So do you think the 1% is still little expensive for the people?
1% is charging for the revenue for when your per transaction value is below $2,000. Once it
Okay.
yeah, once it increases above that, that is not our target market right now, essentially, because
Mm-hmm.
that is the place where you start entering. I would say
Mm-hmm.
MSMEs, corporates. That is where you start. My target market is freelancers. I have a very simple theory that AI will change the game. AI is enabling freelancers to deliver a lot more value as compared to, let's say, what they were able to deliver before. So right now you don't need a large team. All you need is a subscription to Cloud Code, and you will be able to deliver a lot more value. You don't need to hire a very big team. You'll get a lot more done with a very small team. If you're
Mm-hmm.
starting out just today as a freelancer, it's very easy to be AI native as compared to a company like TCS that has been running for years and now has to like crush their whole operations to be AI native, which is very very impractical. Same with MSMEs. If you have a team of 100 200 people, you cannot just be AI native overnight. It's not possible. So the way I see it, there will be a decline. We are already seeing that the market has
Mm-hmm.
factored that in. Market cap of TCS have been and other IT companies have been halved. So I think that is where it will go. MSMEs, I'm not sure they'll stay in the mid range. Some of them will adopt, some of them will don't. It's still possible for them that are on the lower side of it. Those which are on the higher side, which have higher headcount, it will be very very difficult to get to that side. So that is the deception which I'm banking on, that we'll see a lot more AI native freelancers. Not to mention that as more and more
Mm-hmm.
companies will lay people off, what will you eventually do? You would have to freelance. Like what would be the option? You are skilled. It's not that you're not getting hired because you are not skilled. It's just that there is not enough space to be employed in the market. Previously there was, but with rise of AI, I would rather spend my money on data centers and API credits rather than spending my money on another employee, or specifically another junior employee, I would say, who doesn't
Mm-hmm.
bring any specific knowledge to the table. So the idea is more in terms of, so that is what I'm counting on, that we'll see a lot more rise in freelancing because of the shift in AI. uh, and in freelancing also, like I would
Mm-hmm.
say, the market will be divided into two. There will be the low value freelancing, which will take a hit because AI can just do that. But high value freelancers, oh, it's going to shoot up like anything. It will capture market from MSMEs, it will capture market from corporates, it will capture market from low value freelancers.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I'm really banking on, that Indian freelancers who are really skilled will end up increasing in the number of users, their revenue per user will
Mhm.
also increase. So I'm really banking on this particular value to
Okay.
grow really fast. Secondly, previously to
Okay.
in the pre-AI era, it was not possible to do what we are doing right now in terms of our technology. It was
Mhm.
not possible to, like, before DeepSeek came out, it wasn't possible to fine tune an
Mhm.
SLM and make it very specific to a use case like
Ha.
compliance. So these are the two shifts which I'm banking on.
Mhm.
But to answer your question, freelancers are my people. That is what I'm banking on. I believe that my
Okay.
goal for a long time has been to bring the golden bird bank to India. I I believe the path to do
Mhm.
it is through freelancers. We'll see a lot of rise in it. I
Okay. So right now the GTM is the freelancers.
Mhm.
The right now the your GTM is by freelancers.
e- uh,
Hello, am I audible?
Partially, but I think you are asking about GTM. My GTM is to
Mhm.
start with, of course, freelancers. Then the idea is to build that
Freelancers.
compliance, compounding compliance intelligence using our flywheel. So once that happens,
Okay.
we'll be opening our API, very similar to how blockchain or UPI works, where any fintechs or really anybody can integrate our API into their system if they want instant US to India payments. Then we'll be onboarding
Mhm.
our partners to further scale it up. So I think the part to 5 billion is via our freelancers, but the part to 100 billion is definitely involves going via partnerships. Beyond that, the part to $150
Mhm.
billion is via opening up EU and UK corridors. So that is how I plan on keeping
Okay.
the transaction flow in terms of our GTM.
Mhm. Mhm. So max right now, if someone a freelancer is trying to get the money or trying to send a freelancer outside money, maximum your charges will be two things. Because if we see the Swift is taking 600, including the GST, but they are taking 4 to 5 working days, whereas you coming into the place taking a little extra money, but making sure that it is real time and a single day at least. It's in the 20 second you are mentioning, even if it is 1 hour, it's in the single day they are getting the money, right? So you are making sure the time and the ease of the business. Mm-hmm.
Our pricing is lowest in the market because if you
Sanjay?
look at below $2,000, Skydo, BriskPe, all of these they charge somewhere around
Ah,
$20. So you get 1% when you are bringing in the whole $2,000. With us, we are really playing at the lowest
ah,
possible cost. Plus, for the initial years, I think we'll make it free, especially for people who are earning less than, let's say, 6 lakhs per annum. So we are thinking of something
okay.
in that
Okay.
direction too, because we really want adoption to happen fast. So
Mhm.
we might waive off the fees for
Ah,
really
people needs to be
for
confirmed.
people who are making less than 6 lakhs per annum, and they are just starting with us.
Mhm.
So we really want to promote entrepreneurship as well. Like I said, I mean that is one of the biggest
Mhm.
agendas that I believe in. India needs more entrepreneurs. It starts with
Mhm.
freelancers. So I really want more people to end up pursuing freelancing as compared to jobs, because that is how
Mhm.
we'll scale our economy forward. So we'll come up with such a scheme where if you're earning more than 6 lakhs per annum, will make it free for a year or two for you. So feel free to bring in your money up to like 6 lakhs. Once you cross that, then we can start charging, and
Mhm.
even then we are lowest
Thank
in
you.
the market. 1% is inclusive of everything: GST, forex, FIRA, whatever. It's inclusive of every single thing. So you just pay 1% flat fee when it's below $2,000.
Ah,
Yeah, that is the case.
hmm. The
Beyond
good
that,
thing about that you're not taking any playing with the rate price of the USD rate. You're not playing with the rate because a lot of banks are also, for example, HDFC Bank. If today is 97, they were playing at 99 actually. They're charging 2 rupees extra. And if you compound this with some, for example, if someone is trying to send 2 लाख रुपया, तो उसके लिए तो ये इवन 2 लाख भी क्या, अगर बाहर भी जा रहा है तो काफी महंगा हो जाता है उसके लिए. So I
exactly.
guess even if 1% is right now very big as compared to other PSU banks or small banks, only general house it is okay. But on the overall scale, it is even very cheap as compared to the features you are providing. The SLM, the real time use case and all.
I think your banks provide a higher discount when you are dealing with volume. I mean, the same will be the case with us. With two
Super
thousand
fine.
dollars, with $2,000, I don't think you are going to get a better rate than this, even with banks, because they you would have to process one transaction.
Even
Even if they
there is
are
a,
processing one particular transaction,
Mhm.
they might quote you, but if you
Mhm.
look at forex and FIRC fee, the transaction fee and all things included, I don't think you can go lower than this in the market. There are definitely
Even I will tell you
mhm.
the price you're saying. If you are doing 50 crores per year or more, then there is only the super fine, only 4 paisa. They're reducing 4 paisa of their rate on the day. If per year transaction is 50 crore and above. So even if someone is doing 50 crore and above, the still the relaxation is only for 4 paisa. I guess on that basis, it's still very expensive to anyone.
Exactly.
But on your side, it is lesser, cheaper. हाँ, काफी वो cheap हो जाएगा फिर.
Exactly. So
Thank you so much for going us through the whole fintech journey. कि the I guess if you the people those who are